Hi, my name is Bryan Shaw, and for my capstone, my research is going to examine the 1944 Port Chicago explosion and the subsequent Mutiny trial through a constitutional lens. My central research question asks, how did race shape the application and denial of constitutional rights, particularly due process and equal protection for the black sailors charged in the Port Chicago Mutiny trial? I want to understand not only what happened to these sailors, but also how the military justice system operated through a racialized legal framework during World War II. My working thesis is that the Port Chicago court-martial trial demonstrates that the United States Navy systematically violated constitutional protections of the sailors during World War II, using presumptions of military discipline to deny black sailors due process and enforce a racialized system of military justice that abandoned equal protection. The black sailors' rights to due process and equal protection were denied through their labor conditions, race-based inequality in the enforcement of military discipline, and the denial of individual freedoms based upon race in the application of military law. By framing the sailors as dangerous, insubordinate, and criminal, rather than as service members asserting their basic rights, the Navy used military discipline to criminalize black resistance. This paper contributes to the field by shifting the historiography of Port Chicago away from a social and moral critique and toward a legal and constitutional analysis. While historians have powerfully documented the racial injustice of Port Chicago, there's yet to be an examination of how constitutional principles were distorted or ignored within the military justice system itself. By examining the historical framework and evolution of common law and military law, and then analyzing the court-martial transcripts and the legal arguments presented by Thurgood Marshall and the NAACP, this work reframes Port Chicago as a case that exposes the limits of constitutional protections for Black Americans in wartime. Ultimately, this research helps us better understand how race shaped not only the lived experiences, but the very meaning of individual rights under the Constitution.